All right. Bueno, bueno, mi gente. Welcome to another episode of Café con
Wait,
Charlie.
whoa.
¿Qué pasó? What
This
happened?
is a whole new setup. We're not on Zoom. We're
Okay.
in person.
Okay.
That could only mean one thing. And it's a new year.
Okay.
So I think that's the announcement that we have officially relaunched the podcast. One, we're going to rebrand it, change the name. We're coming with Forge Collective Podcast. So what do you think?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Most importantly, I'm loving it that we are right here together in the same, what do we call this? A studio?
Yeah, the makeshift studio. We got to show the people what we got going on one day.
Well, we're gonna put it together. Listen, I'm a little nervous around all this super expensive stuff, so I'm gonna get my stuff together and I'm gonna flow real good. So tell me more. Wait a second. So we are no longer Café con Charlie. We are now the Forge Collective.
Podcast. Yep.
Listen, Forge Collective is something I had heard about from you
Yeah.
in the past. It's a clothing line that you had done. Something about the name just spoke to me, and I think maybe for different reasons, but I'm not. We're going to kind of get into why it spoke to me. But Caesar and I were kind of talking about some names. We had some names we were kind of, and then I just kind of said, hey, bro, how about Forge Collective?
Yeah.
And I think you've been thinking the same thing, right?
Yeah, it was on my mind. I initially thought of it, and then I'm like, well, because it was an idea, and we were trying to launch it. Me and my brother trying to get something going, traction with that. But I was like, all right, let me build a community around this, and then this can be a component of the community building aspect. Because at first it was fitness clothing apparel.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to do. My thought process was Forge Collective was a spin-off or like the sister company of First Kind, which is the streetwear apparel that my brother has going on.
Okay.
And then I wanted to do something on the fitness side.
Okay.
It was kind of too. I got the inspiration from something called 247. That's what the guys at Represent do. They built a fitness clothing aspect to the Represent brand.
Gotcha.
But I love the community side that they had of it. And I was like, you know what? I want to do something similar to that and see how I can provide value and kind of do it with people that are like-minded. My thought process was always iron sharpens iron. So let me
Sure.
see how I can connect with people of a like mind in the fitness space and, build that up, build a community and provide value and help everyone in there grow. You know what I mean? That was my first initial thought. That was just a rough thought of what it was. You know what I mean? I didn't really sit down and conceptualize it yet. But as we got this going on, I know that this is definitely going to be the first part of the community building aspect.
I like that. And listen, I think that anytime that you're making an effort to, as a collective unit, leading the way and showing people with your actions, not just your words, because
Yeah.
I mean, you've been taking some seriously big actions, and we're going to get
Yeah,
into that
for
here in
sure.
just a second. But yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this vision that you've had for such a long time to not only put a brand out that means something, that has some sense of meaning, but also to kind of bring that out into the community of like-minded people. And we're going to get into more specifics. Keep in mind that this is new for us as it
Yeah.
is. This is everything big starts small, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. But tell me, listen, let's get into a little bit more about what are you doing? Like
Yeah.
how are we? I'm living out in Arizona, and how are we sitting in the same room? What's changed in your world here in the last
Yeah, I mean,
30 days?
Honestly, everything.
Okay.
Everything has changed in this aspect of it's a new year. And I took the leap of faith to come out here to Arizona. Honestly, I was just looking for something different. I moved out to Florida a while back. I came back to Lawrence, and it's not that I was like running from Lawrence or anything like that. I just wanted something more, something different. I've been there. I'm 28 years old now. I was pretty much raised there. I moved at the age of 4. You know what I mean? So I have a lot of time there. I know what it is, but I was just looking for something different. Honestly, Arizona was on the radar. It wasn't top of mind until that I got the news that you were moving down here, and I was like, all right, now I have family out here. And there was a battle between Florida, Texas, or Arizona.
Yeah.
And so then that kind of made my decision a little bit easier. But honestly, I just wanted to come out here, experience something different, be around the mountains, which is totally new to me,
Yeah.
be amongst the good weather. I love the community out here. Everyone's into fitness, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs out here. So definitely looking to take what I have going on with my videography and photography. I love working with businesses, so definitely have a lot of opportunities to grow that here. And pretty much, yeah, just chasing the dream.
I love it. I love it. And listen, if I had me a glass of whiskey, we'd be toasting to that because
Yeah.
you know, to me, this is all, it's surreal, right? Because I just moved to AZ, what, 6 months ago? We
Yeah.
moved out here in August. And it's not surreal because I moved to AZ 6 months ago. It's surreal because I had left Lawrence in 2004. So I kind of feel that I can relate to you in that sense because we were kind of in similar places in our lives. I was 24 years old. You're a little bit older, but I was coming from, from a different situation.
Yeah.
And just kind of watching the courage,
Yeah.
the courage that it takes to uproot your family, as your wife, as your girl says, your little family,
Yeah.
and take a leap of faith like you've taken, is not only surreal to me, but it's also equally inspiring.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see that you have such a level of support around you with your
Yeah,
family.
no, for sure. That's been honestly, that's the reason I was able to make this move happen. You know what I mean? Because we got, like, to go into details a little bit, we got to get lean and pretty much cut expenses, save as much money as possible. So behind the scenes, like, this may look like something glamorous and like, wow, he left and he's in a beautiful place. And if you're seeing my stories, you're probably thinking like, wow, that's amazing. He's so lucky. But the reality is I'm here, but that's just the beginning. Now it's a whole big level of challenges and things that I have to get through. Because it's not like I came here with and I've made it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still grinding. I still got to make sure I got to build a career. You know what I mean? I got to make sure I provide. I got to get my place because I'm staying with you for now, which it was one of the blessings that has allowed me to make this happen. But even before, when we were in Lawrence, I moved in with my in-laws pretty much. You know what I mean? And we were staying with them and cutting expenses. But I was doing just a bunch of sacrifices. We turned in one of the cars that we had. And it was like our whole lifestyle changed the last 6 to 7 months of the year. It was completely different. We were pretty much just preparing to make this happen. You know what I mean? But now that I'm here doesn't mean I made it. It's like, it's a lot of challenges. And even to this day, we're going through them. And it's mental more than anything.
Yeah.
But it's like, I know in due time, it'll all play out. And it's cool to be able to document this journey, especially just in the audio format. I want to do my best to document it in video format, whether it be through YouTube or just keeping up little, reels and stuff like that on Instagram. But I'm looking forward to the process of when I'm here now, the mental battles that I'm going to go through, and then getting through it a year's time, and then 5 years time, and 10 years time.
Absolutely. No, and I want to get into some of the stuff of kind of, the physicality of how you got out here and all those things.
Yeah.
But I do want to kind of go back to what you just said a little bit about just because you're out here now doesn't mean you've made it, and things to that effect. I'm one that I find that you're always going to struggle whenever you have change in your life. It's always going to be something different. And it's going to make you uncomfortable. So at my point in my life, a little bit older, I have the gift of a little bit of wisdom behind it from making those moves and from doing those things. And I can assure you one important thing that is hard to see right now while you're in the mud, so to speak. And that's that these are going to be the moments that you reflect back on that bring you a natural smile, that sense of, because you put yourself through it, and no one can ever take that from you. No matter what happens, you did it. Like, you took the leap of faith. So no, maybe not made it in the sense of what you have for aspirations, but you got to celebrate the wins.
Yeah, because it was a huge step, and it's something that I have friends that have done it, and now that I'm in the beginning journey of it, I'm like, hats off to them, because I've never seen, like, I've done a move like that, but it was in college. So it was a little different. And it wasn't like, I wasn't an adult. I didn't have big bills, big problems. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't have a kid to look after. So there was a bunch of stuff now that makes that move different. But I have friends that have made the move out of the country. And I'm like, wow, puts it into perspective of how, like, hard you got to grind and make sure that you get your things in order. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think it's, you got to try to lead with the courage to take the action and put the results to the side sometimes. You just do, because if you're just going to be focused constantly on the results, you're going to just be judging yourself every 2 seconds. So anyhow, shout out to you, kudos to you and the fam for making this leap of faith. And yeah, we're incredibly honored to have you guys with us. You've been incredible. Listen, wait to the real estate work that you've been doing thus far. And we're going to make sure that you can.
And mind you, that's like new to me. You know what I mean? That's not my cup of tea.
I know.
So every project I get a little bit better. Granted, I have a base because I've been operating a camera, but it's like, it's going to take some time. Even today I was editing stuff and I'm like, damn, like that's not where I want to be. Like, not quality wise, but like there's things I can improve on. But I know that with time and with putting in the reps, it'll get to the next level.
For sure. I mean, if you could see what I see, if you couldn't see, I tell you this all the time, if you could see what I envision ahead for you, you wouldn't be as worried as, or you know, it might alleviate some stress. But ultimately, we all have to go through it to gain the perspective and the wisdom. So tell me a little bit, like, So did you like fly out here? Tell me about that.
So the journey here was what is it? It's 42 hours, right? 40.
Technically, I think I looked it up a few times. It's 39.8 hours if you drove.
It's 40 hours exactly. It's 40 hours directly from Lawrence to Phoenix, Arizona, pretty much. So we drove, and on top of that, I had to hitch the CRV with one of those U-Haul trailers. So I did that with my brother. Luckily, I had someone to do it with, but we pretty much just grunted it, and we stopped 3 times for food, and it was pretty much like dinner time, and we just had a bunch of snacks, beef jerky, protein bars, water, and gun day over here. We did like 12 to 16-hour shifts in between and just went back and forth, and we made it here in, I think it was like 48 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, bro, taking a break for like less than 7, and not even a break, because that's just gas. Everything.
Yeah, it was just gas and like probably 30, 45 minutes of food, because everything was fast food except one night we stopped. We were in like Oklahoma and we got some Mexican food.
What's the craziest kind of like the moment or experience that you guys had while like kind of making that road trip across the country?
I mean, I would say there was 2. The road trip was super smooth. Like in hindsight, everything was perfect. My car gave me no issues, thankfully. But there was one moment, I think it was early on. I think we were in Pennsylvania, or we might have been in Pennsylvania or Connecticut. Okay. And we were just driving. Everything was smooth. And out of nowhere, the car started, started bouncing. Oh, damn. And then it just got aggressive, and the faster I went, it was like we were literally in the car driving just up and down like that. And we're like, what the fuck? We didn't know what it was. And so then I pulled over to the side. I looked, I inspected everything. Everything looked fine. Tire pressure looked good. I got off on the road and went again, and the same thing. Boom, 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 boom. And we pulled over again. We're like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Come to find out, it was 1, the road, and I think 2, the wind, because the winds were really aggressive. I think it was bouncing the trailer. It was like hitting it at a weird angle. Mm-hmm. And when the trailer bounces, the whole car moves too. And I was in reality, I was probably over capacity with weight. Yeah. Because the CRV, I looked it up. It says it holds, the towing capacity is 1,500 pounds, and the trailer I think was like 900. But the towing hook said it was 3,500. So, I don't know which one to go by, but we made it.
There you go.
But I think that one was the first one, because I was like, damn, I think my car's fucked up. And I wasn't sure. There was so much stuff, because I just had changed all my struts. Mm-hmm. And I just changed the brakes. So, like, I had done mechanical work, and I was riding on the car for like 2 days before doing all the mechanical work. So I was hoping it wasn't like a mechanical error.
Bro, that's the worst.
Yeah, so after riding a little bit, we got off of that road. And then it was everything went smooth from there. I was like, all right, it was the road or the wind, one of the 2.
That's awesome. Yeah, when you and Ariel got here, bro, I was like, yo, these 2 are zombies right now.
Yeah.
Bro. I was incredibly impressed. I remember my brother Eddie and I talking. Eddie's like, they'll get there by like this day, and I was like, well. And then I just kind of knew after day 1, you 2, like it was gonna become a challenge. Like, oh, this one said Tuesday, this one said Wednesday. Yeah. We'll show them. We'll be there by Monday morning or something like that. So. Yeah, no, incredibly impressive, and I was glad to have your brother here.
Yeah, that was dope. He was here for a week.
That was definitely a good time, and it was cool. So, tell me more about the obviously you have the support. Everybody wants to see you guys win, wants to see you succeed. But there's obviously emotions involved, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got emotions, and so how do you balance, pursuing your dreams, pursuing your aspirations,
Mm-hmm.
and really foreseeing your future of the things you want to have for you and your family, while also honoring these loving relationships that you have and making sure that they know that you're doing this for the purposes of elevating that relationship up, and that you're not walking away from them, and you're
Yeah.
not leaving them, and you're not abandoning them, but you're merely just like you're trying to you're the pioneer,
Mm-hmm.
you're the leader in this. How do you balance that?
I mean, like I don't know. I think I can't really balance it. I would say that my mentality
Mm-hmm.
is that that's how I see it. I
Sure.
hope that they see it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the reality is like I left family behind, obviously, but with the goal and the intention of I can put myself in a better position and eventually move my mom out here. You know, Kirsta's parents come out, and then we can slowly reunite the family. Because I have a vision,
Mm-hmm.
and remember I said it now that we're just a start. I feel like eventually, a year, 2 years down the line, they'll be here, and then it'll be our journey. You know, growing and expanding on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But it's just that. I mean, it's obviously staying in touch. I know that my mom spent a lot of time with us with Kai, so it's tough for her, but it's a sacrifice. I see it as a sacrifice that I know that if I put in the work and achieve the goals that I want to and get into the position that I envision for myself, I can then reach down, help, and elevate their life, their lifestyle, and stuff like that. Because that's how I've always seen it. I think it's Jay-Z that says like you can't help somebody if you're stuck in the same position.
Sure.
So it's like I have to elevate and try my best to then help the family and get them out here and do what we can.
Yeah, for sure. No, listen. I say it all the time. Being a leader is a lonely road, and
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean you don't have emotions. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have ups and downs. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna have self-doubt. You're not gonna wonder like, bro, what the fuck did I do here? You know, like those things are going to happen. I mean, I'm incredibly impressed with your level of stoicism. Every time I talk to you, like, bro, I'm good. My mindset's here. I just happen to be one of those people, and especially because you guys are with us, and I've been kind of a part of the journey with you, that I'm like, man, I want to make sure they're okay. I want to make sure that but at the end of the day, sometimes we try to rescue people, or try to rescue them from the emotions and the struggle that they actually need.
I mean, this is part of this is character building. This is part of that
Absolutely.
phase, because I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's easy. Like,
Sure.
obviously we saved up, we have a
Yeah.
little runway, we
Yeah.
have your guys' support that are giving us a place to stay.
Absolutely.
But eventually, the runway starts to run out, and then you feel like you got to be at a certain point. So like we're very early on in the journey.
Yeah.
Obviously, even then, there's still been those phases like, yo, what are we doing? Like, because I'm a person who's always needs to feel like I'm like moving forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when things are a little slow or a little stagnant, or like things are in limbo,
Sure.
I start to like question like, all right, was it the right move? But at the end of the day, it was just knowing that what I came from, or like I was in a place where I was just complacent. I had goals for myself, but I wasn't really doing much to get to the next stage. You know what I mean? I was living life on a hamster wheel. You know what I mean? Because I had a job, I was working in a family business, and things were just kind of in a routine. So it's like, and I've learned, unfortunately, that once you're in that comfort zone, that's the ultimate death. You know what I mean? And sometimes it becomes the golden handcuffs, because you just get enough to live your lifestyle, pay your bills, have a little money, but nothing else. You know what I mean? So it's like I just bet on myself, put all the faith in God, and said, all right, I'm going to go and put my back against the wall and see what I can make of the situation.
Absolutely. No, I mean, look, like I said, looking from the outside in, I don't see any cons here.
Yeah.
The only time I see a con and when I mean like pros and cons, not like but pros and cons, I don't see a negative, because in my belief, it's like, and this is through experience, man, whether it was not making the basketball team when I was younger, and then having to work harder and go run track for a little bit until they put me back on the team. I've been able to see enough of the pattern that when you put yourself out there and you're willing to take the risk, yeah, it's going to suck. Yeah, it's not going to feel good. But at the end of the day, it's going to make you feel alive, and you're going to gain something about it. I think I was listening to something today, and it said, the quote said something like, I don't like work. Nobody likes work, but you do the work so that you can find out what you're made of. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's similar to something like this. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you
for
can,
sure.
you can do it. You can just, you can just stay in your comfort zone. That's cool if that's for you. But bro, you're like, nah, man, I'm gonna throw off the safety ropes and I'm gonna burn the ships and I'm gonna give this a whirl because I want to see what I'm made
Yeah,
of.
this is that initially that was my thought process. Like
Yeah.
coming out here, you're gonna be put in the fire,
Yeah.
and you're either gonna come out, stronger and see what's up, or you're gonna fold. But I just don't think that that's the path I'll take. Like I just have full belief in myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just know that this was what's gonna determine. Like, all right, do you really have what it takes? Do you have the mindset that you think you have? Did you build up your character to the point where you can handle these types of adversities? Because they will come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this for me is just a big test. But I feel like the 2024 is going to be just a test, a period of test, because it's going to be a journey and it's not going to be easy. Even just from now to the end of the year, you know what I mean? I'll be in a different stage, but it's all, even then, it's still going to come with its challenges that I got to overcome. Being in a new city, meeting new people, you know what I mean? Like everything is fresh. I've never put myself in that position where like every single thing is fresh.
Brand new.
You know what I mean? It's crazy, but
Brand new. And listen, I don't care how successful you think you are, or like, bro, my ego has gone from like here to like down here in the sense of, and listen, you don't want your ego up here anyway, in my opinion. Like, just humble yourself, be mindful that everything in life takes time, it takes patience, it takes consistency. So I think, listen, when I look into this room right now, I see this setup. We talked about this 6 to 8 months ago.
Nah.
So at the end of the day, sometimes you have this vision of what you think something is supposed to look like, yet you keep at it, and it may not look exactly like what you thought. It might be a little bit different over here, but you're still doing the work, right? And so then we sharpen the swords that way.
For sure.
And at the end of the day, you will never regret the experience and the lessons learned. So shout out to you for taking that leap of faith. So tell me this, right? What do you envision for the at least for the Forge Collective podcast? Like what do we want to do? What do we want to offer? I mean, we got all this set up here. We looking fly up in here, except for that Yankees hat, bro. I do not condone that.
I got like
gente,
8
that's on
different
him.
pairs, so this is gonna be forever.
You want
With
listen,
pride, even when we suck and we're losing.
yeah, you are not gonna see me rocking one of those. But if you all want to send me a Beantown hat to compete with that, let's do it. But yeah, Forge Collective, man. Every time I say it, I'm getting more and more pumped about its meaning and what we can do with it. What are your thoughts?
Sure. I mean, for me, with this podcast specifically, I think because of the things that we initially talked about, fitness, mindset, personal development, business, I feel like that is what obviously the goal is going to be, and the objective is to obviously share our story and help as much people, because I always say my ultimate, like I would say, like life mission is keep leveling up, but as I keep climbing, like help the person I was a year, 2, 3, 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Because the mindset and the position that I'm in now is way different than a year ago, even 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Because I'm always learning, I'm always evolving. So if I can help anybody, just even inspire them to say, oh, look, he ran a marathon, let me do a 5K. My goal, honestly, I want to get some people running, because it's like, you did that for me.
Yeah. I
know I've had a few friends that I've impacted and got them on the running journey. So I want to see how far I can stretch that. So provide, motivation, but also information and on tips, tricks, what worked for me. You know what I mean? Share my journey. But also I want to connect with people, eventually get them on the show. Now that we're here in person, we're doing it the right way, official, because I hated being on Zoom. Just being like, that was like my ultimate pet peeve. It was just like, this quality looks like ass. You know what I mean? So I was like, we're obviously going to keep leveling this up and the production value, but connecting with people out here who are in that journey, who are doing their thing in business, progressing their mindset and elevating their business. You know what I mean? Who also look like us and are like, going against the grain. Like, that's my biggest thing too. I want to find people who are in these spaces, the Ironmans, the marathons, and they have their own swag to it. They look different. They probably come from the unorthodox route or whatever like that. Connect with those people, build a community, and just keep making it inclusive, and also a way to provide value so that each person in there can elevate and help each other grow and connect with one another.
Absolutely, yeah, man. Listen, if you're out here in the Phoenix area, and you happen to come across this podcast and listening to us two cats right here, it's like we're straight up, as real as it can be, no bullshit. But we're about that life. We're about family. We're about business. We're about each one teach one. We're about supporting one another in whatever capacity we can support each other, as long as it's going in a positive direction. You ain't gonna catch me responding to no negative comments, anything like that. That's just saying me, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Like what we're trying to do here is ultimately maximize our potential, and then turn around and teach that or share that with others who want to discover their best selves, who want to like be like. You don't even have to be your best self. You could just be a guy that wants to go do 100-miler. You could be somebody that wants to complete your first marathon. You could be want to be a better husband, whatever that is. Ultimately, the formula to this that we're trying to do is lead by example and show that you don't have to be killing it in business. You don't have to be doing anything to be your best personal self. All you got to do is be willing to take the chances that are required to change your environment and to change your situation. And you know, we're just doing that shit, leading by example. Like I couldn't do this. I told you this. I can't do this podcast with you with all this rah stuff, and then I don't do nothing to make myself uncomfortable.
No,
right?
for sure.
So here we are. We're doing it, and I can't wait till we look back on, you know, after podcast number 50 or number 100. And
see the difference,
and not only in the quality of this, but the difference in who we are as men,
we became,
right? And
100%.
and the successes and the failures, and how they're not that far apart in reference to value. They both have a lot of value. They both have an incredible amount of value, because you know you ain't gonna learn shit if you're just successful all the time. You ain't gonna learn nothing. You know, you learn from your failures. So yeah, super excited about that. But here's the thing: we do want your feedback. If anything in this room, go ahead.
Yeah, no, like give us your feedback. Let us know if you guys see anything, or like there's gonna be a lot of probably technical issues that we might come across, obviously, because there is a lot going on. It's the people producing this are the two you see in front of the camera.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? So, but also connect with us. We'll obviously link our socials and, you know, reach out, especially if you're in the Phoenix area. I'm new here, so I'm like trying to find my tribe, essentially. You know what I mean? We definitely have goals of doing a run club.
Yeah.
Because eventually I'm working on the apparel that'll come through. So we'll have some cool merch and some run club tees and stuff like that. I've been talking to a few of my friends about it, but that'll be on the works. And then, you know, just building the community out here. I have my brother still in Mass, so he's going to be doing stuff out there. And I have a few friends in Miami, so hopefully we can have like a little, you know, I don't know, community. And then like throughout the coast, we got the South, the East, the West, and then just grow it and see how we can all elevate.
I love it. It's each one teach one, right? Yep. So I am going to put a little caveat. I don't know if you agree with this, but bro, if you can't like and subscribe, you don't get a say. So I don't care what you think. If you can't at least subscribe and check out.
You got to do the housekeeping, like subscribe.
You got to like and subscribe. And no, for real, like we're not, it doesn't always have to be about motivation. It doesn't always have to be about business, but it can be. We're open to that, you know, those kinds of topics and those conversations. And yeah, man, super excited about what's to come for us in 2024, pivotal year.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, super big things. But we got to make sure that we're grateful in the moment too, all the time, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. It comes down to like we had a run the other day and you were telling me about that, and you really put it into perspective, because my mind's so focused on getting things done and making sure that I reach a certain outcome. But then you forget to look back and say, look at what you did. You know what I mean? The fact that I'm here is a huge step.
Absolutely.
The fact that I took that leap of faith, the fact that I'm even putting myself in that position, you know what I mean? All of that stuff is like, that's a win. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So I got to honor that, be grateful, obviously, and then just keep going.
Yeah, you got to know your finish line. And let me just elaborate on that. I'm not saying that you could stop grinding. I'm not saying that you can't get everything you want. But there's got to be a point in where you show gratitude for how far you've come.
Yeah.
There's got you can't have your goals and dreams today and then you reach them tomorrow and you're like, those aren't good enough. So your family, your wife, your kids, what they get is the version of of an ungrateful you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So humility is an important part of all of this, and making sure that you can I'm incredibly honored that a dream that I had years ago, 20, 30 years ago, of influencing either my nieces or my nephews or my own daughters to be courageous, to make moves, to believe in a better life, is in some ways has come to fruition for me with you guys here.
Yeah.
Right. I've got a daughter that moved, and people that are just more courageous and doing their thing, and I'm connected with them. So you have to know when to be grateful for the work that you've put in, so that way, the seasoning of life is there for you.
For sure, man.
Yeah. But yeah, wrap it up, brother.
But no, that's it. So obviously this is a short, brief episode. It was kind of just to do the introductory, you know what I mean? Let people know that we finally are back and rolling, because we went a little hiatus, I feel like.
We did.
And we didn't really announce anything, so it's like we just kind of fell off. So we didn't quit or nothing. We just had this in the works.
Absolutely.
A lot of people didn't know. I still have actually, in the time of recording, I have yet to like do a big announcement on Instagram that I actually officially moved. So by the time you're seeing this, it'll probably already be out. But yeah, man, we were working on that. So now we're here. We're looking to elevate. Thank you for tuning into the Forge Collective podcast. It feels dope to say that.
Let's go. Mi gente. Peace.
Peace out, guys. Thank you.